this next piece is called Promise You'll Tell Them. Wardrobe sifting the other day, I heard whispering dripped into sleep. Tapping lightly on the wardrobe door, I got silence so deep I could hear a pin hit the floor. I was so shocked I didn't know what to do. No one would believe that what I heard was true. I opened the door and stepped right in. The tension in the air was so thick you could cut right in. I looked around thinking, maybe someone is in here hiding. What other reason could there have been for what I'm pretty sure was whispering? Hello, I called rather loudly, hoping I'd hear a voice coming to answer me. Instead, what I heard was a hush shushing. Who said that? I asked, stepping forward. What I saw had me sitting down hard. A miniskirt with hands clasped over her mouth, eyes open wide, and heart beating with a loud thud. I could only think, this is absurd. I swallow my lung blush tight, I fear and crawl forward with hands stretched for a chair. I get it and pull myself up to sit down, giving myself just enough time to calm down. I'm not here to judge, just to listen and learn. So if you don't mind, please tell me what's going on. Miniskirt's hands dropped to the side, her head bent down with broken pride. She looked me deep in the eyes and said with a sigh, they said I did it by being so high. Right there, she paused and started to cry. Right here, she kept asking me, why? Why what? I asked, not wanting to push too hard, hoping she'd finish her story as to why she's sad. They said it's my fault, that whatever she got, I bought. That I'm the reason she was so easily accessible, that I'm the architect of her trouble. They say that I'm the reason she was defiled, that I'm the reason those men went wild, that I'm the reason she lost her pride, and I'm the reason she's had to hide. It hurts so much to think that I'm the reason she's going to a shrink. I played a part in her demise because I wasn't long enough to cover her thighs. Sweatpants looks down and clears his throat. I was supposed to protect my girl's butt. I was supposed to cover her figure, leave no room for their eyes to linger. I was supposed to protect her. But even at that, I was a failure. They blame me too, you know. They say that I made her slow, that I'm the reason she couldn't run away fast enough, that me being slightly loose wasn't enough, that because of me, she found it tough, that because of me, she chose to be rough. That by being chosen, I made her feel invincible. That I'm the reason she was made almost blue. They say I gave her too much confidence. That because of me, she wasn't prudent. With that, he hung his head in shame, silently praying he'd never have to see the light of day again. One look at him and you could tell he'd never be the same. I can only imagine how disheartened he must be, to be blamed for a job he was carrying out quite carefully. The sting of pity I feel is great, after all. He wasn't responsible for her cruel fate. A fully cotton nightgown with head bowed down and eyes cast down looked so dejected that I hoped someone else would have interjected, but no one did, and I was forced to ask, what's your story of hope's past? She took a shaky deep breath and held her hands to her chest. They blame me, she said so very softly. They blame me because she wanted to get comfy. They blame me when I wasn't even responsible. They blame me for being sensible. They say I made her too comfortable, that I didn't show enough skin, that because of me they decided to go exploring, that because of me getting in was easy. They're over here and they're judging me when I did nothing to begin with. The diaper in the corner, assisted by a walker, was just learning to talk, but that didn't matter, because the expression on her face just said it better. They blamed her because she's weaker than the others. Blamed her for being dependent on both genders. Blamed her for not being older. Blamed her for being physically incapable of fighting off her offender. Blamed her saying she didn't matter. Telling her that no one would believe her, and even if they would, she couldn't speak to begin with. Telling her she just had to deal with it. Telling her she'd grow out of it. Just then, we hear a sound and look up to the wardrobe door. A girl walks in and slumps down to the floor, her hands in her lap and her head hanging low, tears running down her face as her emotions overflow. I look around and see nothing. All I heard was the sound of the girl crying. I got down and crowded round. I take her hands and ask, what's wrong? She sighs, wipes her face and says, where do I start from? She says they blame me most of all. They say what happened was my fault. They say I asked for what I got because my clothing was too short, because I showed my curves, I got what I deserved. They say I'm to be blamed because I was dressed to get laid. They say my outfit was put together to draw attention to me, even when the pants I wore were quite baggy. Even when I was dressed appropriately. They say I was trying to get lucky. See, they blame me for everything. But they never tell the guys that not raping me is a thing. They don't blame the guys for objectifying me. They don't blame the guys for preying on me. They never think that I'm the victim. Instead, they see me as the roots of the problem. Here she grabs my hands ever so firmly. You have to tell them, she says almost desperately. You have to tell them to stop dehumanizing me. Tell them to stop forcefully penetrating me. Tell them to stop making excuses. Tell them, just tell them to start taking measures. I want to be safe. Please. Tell them to stop blaming me for their weaknesses. Tell them we just want to live. Tell them we want to be left alone. Tell them that until men are held accountable for the things they do to us, the world we live in can never be just. Promise me you'll tell them, she pleaded before turning to dust. I promise I'll tell them, I quietly whispered to the air. I'll tell them, I swear.